Although water is life, access to safe clean water and sanitation still remains a challenge for a good proportion of the world's population. According to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, more than 2 billion people worldwide lack access to safe water and over 4.5 billion to adequate sanitation. This is the more reason why UN member states adopted Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which seeks to ensure access to water and sanitation for all by the year 2030. In the case of Luapula Province, the majority of the population residing outside the areas serviced by Luapula Water and Sewerage Company, and those who have water schemes, such as the Mambilima community in Mwense, depend on boreholes where they exist, shallow wells, streams, and rivers for their water.
In terms of water and sanitation, situation in Kawamba district, the major source of water in the urban is of course the piped water, which is provided by our utility company, which is Luapula Water and Sewerage Company. However, much of our district is the rural part, and the source of water in these areas, the major one is of course streams.
In terms of coverage, we have about 3,500 households in the urban area, and currently only 1,200 is currently connected to piped water. So meaning the percentage, we only have about 38% of households in urban setup that is connected to piped water. In terms of sanitation, in urban areas we are relying on the on-site sanitation. So that is the only facility which is available at the moment. So we don't have like the sewer system, that one does not exist at the moment. But as a local authority, what we've done, we are thinking in future, we are doing forward planning. So we are leaving out portions of land, like in areas where we know that will open up. So we are leaving sites for water treatment plants.
The Department of Housing and Infrastructure Development, DHID, explains the status of the province in terms of statistics.
As a province, in terms of sanitation, we are at about 53%. So, and that is, I would say, it's basic sanitation. Now we need to move up the ladder so that we have improved sanitation now, which the SDGs are advocating for. And also, in terms of water supply, as a province, we are at 63%. So, and that again, I would say it's basic water supply, because what we are now supposed to move to is now having piped water. Piped water or a tap, or any source of improved source of water. We are talking about the safely managed water supply at the premises, where people don't need to move very far, maybe 500 meters to go and fetch water. What the government and what we are embarking on and ensuring as a province is to ensure that the water is at their premises.
As part of the global action call for a better future for all, the month of March has been designated as the Water Action Month.
Yeah, the Water Action Month for us in the NGO sector is a period where a lot of activities is actually happening, and especially for this year, it's a period where we are trying to raise the profile for water and sanitation, and also to discuss issues, one, on how we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Especially in Zambia, it's a period where we are trying also to engage the government to see how best they can actually increase the financing vis-a-vis with the washer gaps which we have. It is not only the central government, but we are also calling, I think as you have seen here, we have called all the council secretaries, the mayors, and also the town clerks and the planners to discuss the best way of addressing issues of water and sanitation using the local funding. So meaning that we are trying to see how best we can mobilize the resources. The council need to take the leadership to ensure that we have enough resources to provide water and sanitation for all.
The need to address issues of safe, clean water and sanitation was underscored by 20 teachers from Mansa College of Education in their poem.
Silently, I am falling. Breaking into smaller pieces, smashing and crashing so that its remains never remembered at all.
This is the last job of it here. We are here to attack and defend your comfort zone without fear of failure.
Our message is as clear as a panorama.
We stand here to protect, defend, preserve, sustain, and secure life.
With full force, we'll forcefully force untightness and restore a clean Zambia.
For we are here to return, refresh, rewind, and restore the better days. Make the recognition of peace, stand, speak, defend, and protect our country as one.
Back law and banish belligerently. Put fear aside. Speak up and let everyone comprehend and suspend the capital portion. Because we can't continue in this way. Our mission is to have a petition on the side of stopping foreign and other related diseases.
We are here, aggressive, divisive, and brutal. Like soldiers, we will push our forces to be clean, but this is our mission.
It is ridiculous to remain in shame when there is strength to make a change. Prevention is better than cure. It is also important to unite for a better future. Clean and clear streets to bring sanity in our community with integrity as an identity.
Hey, ho, Mati! Hey, ho, Achanya! Hey, ho!
Sanitation is in our work plan. We give credit to our president for making a decision of using force to clear and clean the street of Lusaka. Sometimes you have to fight to be a man. Not all harsh decisions are bad. Some are correction to anomalies. VAREN wakateka.
This discussion, sanitation, was as a result of proper consideration. For this, I will take my position with passion, in my nation, defend my possession.
In this mission, I don't care whether you hate me, for I will not forgive myself if you die out of that of victory. For stone is heavy and sand is weight, but irrational thinking is heavier than both. For entertaining dirt is stirring up strife. Be diligent in cleaning up your space, because our future is at stake. Yes, it is at stake.
In Wapla Province, as part of the Water Action Month, government in partnership with non-governmental and civil society organizations held a high-level meeting in Mansa. The meeting that was aimed at reviewing progress made in increasing access to clean water and sanitation and to explore possible sources of financing attracted, among others, council chairpersons, council secretaries, and selected heads of government departments and parastatals. Luapula Province Minister Nixon Chilangwa opened the meeting in a speech read on his behalf by Deputy Permanent Secretary.
Luapula Province is a province blessed with most water bodies in Zambia, and yet it is one of the provinces with the least coverage to access to safe water supply and sanitation facilities. You may wish to know that Luapula Province urban water supply coverage is about 25%, rural water supply 65%, urban sanitation 5%, and about 50% for rural sanitation. As a government, we shall not allow such a situation to continue without any measures being put in place to improve the lives of the people of Luapula Province.
The minister, however, reaffirmed government's commitment to the provision of safe clean water as evidenced by the number of projects it was implementing.
The government of the Republic of Zambia, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, has embarked on an ambitious plan through the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, National Rural Water Supply and Sanitation, and the National Urban Water Supply and Sanitation Program. The two programs are government's roadmap to not only increase the percentage of people accessing safe water supply and sanitation, but also speed up the process to ensure as many people as possible have access to these amenities, which according to United Nations are a human right. I am glad to report that the construction of 440 boreholes, 40 per each district, in all the 11 districts of Luapula province is 100% completed. The project is currently under defect liability period. The project has indeed benefited 11,000 people in the province. The government has also mobilized funds from the African Development Bank to finance the integrated small towns water supply and sanitation program in Luapula, northern, Muchinga, and western provinces of Zambia. In Luapula province, the bank will support Luapula Water and Sewerage Company in the provision of safe water supply and sewerage facilities.
Although some progress has been made, the provincial leadership is cognizant of the need for additional financing if the province is to meet Sustainable Development Goal number 6 target by the year 2030.
Despite the progress made in the provision of safe drinking water and proper sanitation in the province, many gaps remain due to financial constraints. Therefore, the feasibility of achieving the Sustainable Development Goal WASH targets depends on the ability to mobilize and redirect significant additional resources if services are to reach poorer, harder to reach populations in the province. In particular, loans and other forms of repayable finance from domestic private leaders will be a critical resource in financing efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
The need for accelerated efforts was re-echoed by the civil society.
The opportunities, I think the possibilities are there. We can actually do it. However, we still have a very huge task to do. I think when you look at the presentation, the way we performed in the MDGs, I think most of the works have gone down again. So meaning it has created a lot of gaps. I think when you look at another presentation which actually explained on the level of performance on the SDGs and factor in the indicators of the SDGs, we have actually reduced down about 9% countrywide to have access to safe water, safely managed water and sanitation. So meaning that we still have a very huge challenge. Meaning people from the government or stakeholders, we need to think outside the box. We should stop the business as usual. If you continue the business as usual, I think the battle, then it will be a losing battle. But we expect that looking at what the government has actually put in place, especially some of the plans and the direction which the government actually now pushing forward, if all of us, we can buy in, it's very possible, because especially in the Luapula province, we have a lot of water sources. I think it's one of the provinces. But if you look at the comment from the PLGO, indicated that Luapula is one of the least provinces in terms of access to water and sanitation. So the opportunities are there because this is the province which have a lot of groundwater, water sources, the surface water, it is everywhere. So we just need to put our effort together and think outside the box, and we do the needful. Then we are able to reach the target.
Some of the stakeholders that have been supplementing government's efforts in this area explains their activities.
As Plan International Zambia, we've been in Luapula since 2005, and in the area of water and sanitation, we've had the community-led total sanitation program, where we have worked with the communities to drill some boreholes, and also we did some protection of the water sources. There are those wells that are open wells, but we moved in to ensure that they have the leads, they are protected and they are well maintained. So basically that's what we've been doing, also sensitization on ensuring that communities are aware of the dangers of open defecation And we worked with government and other partners in ensuring that one chiefdom, at least in Mansa, was declared ODF.
And VISION Africa Refional Network for Zambia shares their contribution.
Yeah, basically, you know, our organization, VISION Africa Refional Network Zambia, we have been so much involved in the service provision. Basically, we are doing service provision. We have been putting up some small schemes in the small towns. We are also supporting the Ministry of Education to reduce the gap. For example, Wapra province, I think in 2015, there were about two-thirds of all the schools had no access to safe water and sanitation facilities. But this time around, as an organization, we have been trying to push this agenda forward. For example, the 2015-2017, we supported about 50 schools to increase the sanitation coverage in schools, looking at the gaps which were there. Not only that, in terms of service provision, it is not only in Wapula, we are also doing it, for example, in Mchinga province, we have also been doing it in the Central province, try to complement the government effort. But besides that one of also another major role, we are also trying to advocate, meaning engaging government, to dialogue with them, try to bring ideas together, to ensure that because the government is the duty the duty bearers, and the public is the right orders. So meaning that these people, they need to work together. So we are creating a platform where these people, they need to discuss and try to chart the way forward. So apart from service provision, we are also doing issues of capacity building as well as the advocacy work.
Plan Zambia also shared their experiences and lessons learned during the implementation of the community-led total sanitation program.
It's just the erratic funding to improve the water situation in the communities. Believe you me, we've done so much of boreholes, but after we do them, we leave them to the communities to manage. But right now, the lessons we are learning are that sustainability has become an issue, because the communities do not have the mechanisms to continue maintaining the boreholes once they break down. You'll still find them coming back to us to go and work on them. Sometimes we've moved in the communities where we've done boreholes some time back. When you get there, they're not even utilizing it. And maybe it's just a small piece that has broken down. So you find that the community's ownership in terms of maintenance and continuity is still a challenge, and that's one area we need to focus on as stakeholders. Also, maybe we need to begin to look at other sources of water provision in the communities, because we've done so many boreholes. But at the end of the day, are they making the lives of the people manageable? Are they contributing to improved water sanitation situations in the homes? And is it within the minimum standards where they are able to walk within a few minutes and get the water and put it there in their homes? So there are a number of gaps that are going on. The need is great, but what we have done, it might not reach out to the greater needs that are there in the communities.
To ensure the province continues to make progress towards the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal number 6, government on its part has lined up a number of programs and projects aimed at increasing the number of people accessing safe clean water and sanitation.
There are a lot of things that we are doing in terms of water and sanitation, and I would say as a government there are a lot of resources that are being pumped in to ensure that we also meet the aspiration of the people and also the Sustainable Development Goals. You know that Zambia is also part of the UN SDGs, which ran up to 2030 from 2016. So in terms of the things that the government is doing, basically is like in urban areas. I'll talk about Wapura water, for example. The government has already sourced about $40 million that is going towards rehabilitating and also extension of the network in Mansa urban area and also part of some very urban areas, and also Zambia, Mwense and also Kawambwa. So that's where the money is going, the 40 million. There are a lot of water schemes that the government is also implementing. Like, for example, we are doing the Lukwesa Kashiba project, which is costing over 10 million kwacha. It's for Lukwesa Kashiba. That one is also going to be completed this month. So we have another scheme that the government has already done, like underground water phase 3. We did about 5 schemes in Inchelenge, Mwense, and Mileng. We did all those schemes. So, and in terms of I think the policies, I think we have seen a lot of improvement and a lot of changes and a lot of strategies. Like for example, we now have the national policy on water, and also the National Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program is in place, which runs now up to 2030 from 2016. So you've seen all those strategies that the government and interventions that the government is doing to ensure that all people have access to water supply by the year 2030 and the water is at their premises.
And Chembe Town Council Secretary shares how his council was addressing the issues of access to safe water.
Chembe being a new district, we don't have the water integration system. Apart from the 10 houses which were recently commissioned, are the only houses which are benefiting from piped water. The rest of the district relies on hand-pumped boreholes, which get dry during dry season, especially in October. 3/4 of those boreholes, they go without water. Now, as a council, we are trying to come up with a mean water scheme. We started raising money for that scheme as far back as 2016. Through our equalization funds, we had allocated something like 125,000 kwacha. Then in 2017, we had a budget where we were supposed to build a house for the council secretary, and the budget was about 260,000 kwacha. Having benefited from the 10 houses which the government built for us, and after being commissioned by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, we realized that there is no need to go ahead with that house for the council secretary. Hence, we allocated that money again with the water scheme. When we allocated that money, it came closer to about slightly above 500,000 kwacha. Then last year's budget, we also allocated the scheme with another 160,000 kwacha. It came close to about 800,000 kwacha. As I'm speaking now, from our locally generated resources, we allocated in the same water scheme with 200,000 kwacha. We have in the bank, as I'm speaking now, 1 million, which we have channeled to do a water scheme. We have taken advantage of a certain borehole which was left behind by our mother council, where we came from. We are 9 of Mansa. They had drilled a borehole which was not working. So we have discovered that borehole has got a lot of water. We have rehabilitated it at the moment. And it's the one which is even feeding the newly constructed waterborne toilet at the customs. So we want to utilize the same borehole to pump water from where it is located to some place where it is about 2.5 kilometers. It is slightly higher. We call it at Lupiri Market. There we want to put up some 2 elevator tanks, then use the gravity to distribute water to those who have already built their structures and those who are still building along that area. But the water problem in Chembe is quite big. We have at least 1,800 plots which have been surveyed, and we are locating. There is no water facility. For that, we are still making a request to government to see how they can assist us. As we are trying on our own to do something, we are also appealing to government because we can't manage to go and supply 1,800 plots which are lost.
The meeting also explored potential sources of funding.
quality type of nets that will meet their particular needs in that particular area.
Increased access to safe, clean water and sanitation will not only result in a healthy population, but will also lead to productive workforce, critical for the attainment of Zambia's vision of becoming a prosperous middle-income country by the year 2030.